The left has done all of this stuff exclusively so they could get this story out there to make Ohio look bad. Mission accomplished. We did it, folks. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Oh, we're gonna do Emma Vigeland. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do Emma Vigeland. Let's do the Emma Vigeland clip. Does anyone have that? A real mid-off? Oh yeah, they're having a fucking mid-off, dude. Emma Vigeland, friend of the show, the co-host of Majority Report, went on the Tim Pool, the Tim Pool broadcast to fucking debate, and apparently she did a great job. We're not gonna watch the whole thing. Maybe there are some clips on Twitter that we can look at. Let's look at this one, for example. Let's see what happened. Because Tim Pool got like real fucking mad at certain points. I think he gets like very upset when you make fun of his music, is what I found out.
I said, it sounds like a psyop to have this profile appear one day after the shooting where it's got like a bunch of screenshots on it or something.
Sure.
It really does sound to me like someone told you to say things and you don't know what you're referencing.
I'm not shocked that that is the only way that you're going to try to react to this.
To react to what? Okay, no, this is fairly obvious. So I'm willing to bet Sam was like, hey, ask him about this and say these exact things.
No, I came up with,
come up with original thoughts. Come on.
It is my original thought.
So no, it isn't. It's some guy posts a screenshot of one episode of a show he's not subscribed to, and you think that's an attack vector for something political, but it's a personal snipe that has no bearing on any of the arguments we've made the entire show.
I disagree.
Yeah, so, you disagree with what? With what? Elaborate.
I disagree that it has no bearing on what you've said throughout your entire show.
Like what? What did I say?
This is
come on.
The claim
let's
that you
hear
made.
Let's hear it.
I believe that your program appeals to a right-wing audience, and there's a reason that the neo-Nazi shooter watched your program.
And how do you know he watched the program?
Because he posted about it.
What did he post?
Tim.
What did he post?
He posted parts of an interview that you did.
No, he didn't. You're wrong.
He had 4 screenshots on his phone from
He did. He posted it. Didn't he post about like, was it Pearly Things or was it Nick Fuentes? Did he have Nick Fuentes on his? I think it was like, what was it? I don't even remember now, but he definitely did do that. He definitely had it on a playlist too. That was absolutely something he did. I'm pretty sure it was the Nick Fuentes interview that he had.
Don't even know what you're talking about, and all you can do is laugh and say,
no, it's because you get specific to obscure the fact.
Some guy posted one thing one time, and that's the only argument you have.
Did you go to the time codes that were in that episode? Because I did. I ran this down, and one of them was a clip of Elijah Schaffer, and like weirdly for this like neo-Nazi Hispanic shooter, it's Elijah saying that we shouldn't be emphasizing race specifically.
Tattoo.
No, he's a neo-Nazi Hispanic shooter.
Right, but Tim called it a false flag and then corrected himself the next day and then said he thought it was funny after a mass shooting.
I think that, someone...
He looks so mad. What the fuck? This is what the shooter posted? Oh yeah, it is clips. Timcast IRL, Putin drops the dollar, just Pearly Things. Oh, I was mistaken. The Nick Fuentes Just Pearly Things screenshot is separate. He posted clips from the Timcast IRL on Elijah Schaffer. Ugh. Yeah. Tim mentioned you. Oh God, what did he say?
He then, it's mostly water under the bridge, but he made some comment about me backing out or something. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, and then I messaged him. I was like, are you kidding, dude? Like, we're going to pay for everything. And then he was just like, no, I'm not doing it. Are you crazy?
Well, then just do it. Like, I mean, I'm sure he'd be down to come down soon and you guys could act.
I am not going to Tim Pool's broadcast. Okay. He can come on mine or we can do it on Zoom. That's what I would like to do. Unless he's talking about, is he talking about Sam? Oh, this segment is about Sam Seder.
Actually,
okay.
Well, the issue has expanded more than that. I mean, so at the same time, there was Hassan Piker, who also responded to my tweet. And he said, I'd love to come. And I said, when can you come? And he said, let's figure out a date. And so I DM'd him and he said, I got to be honest, I'm actually concerned about COVID. And I said, totally get it. No worries, man. Thanks for reaching out. And that was the end of it. Sam, however, used it on like a video and then started tweeting about it because it was drumming up a whole bunch of clicks and views. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, when we were originally supposed to do it, I was like, bro, why would I fly in the middle of COVID when my mom is like living with me all the way to like wherever you are? But I still don't want to fly to wherever he is. I don't know where the fuck he is, but I don't want to fly there. I don't want to like, if I have an alternative method of being able to debate someone, I would rather do that. Like, I don't want to fucking be on a show. I can't stream it myself. I'm just basically like, at that point, offering my audience over. Like, I'll have him on mine.
Okay, dude, I get it. Interacting with this guy is just going to create drama that he uses to get clicks.
Seems Emma Vigeland made Timcast very upset today on his show, and he took the occasion to once again claim that I accepted an invite to be on his show and then backed out to cause drama. I'm attaching a screen recording of our DMs to clear the air. I can have Lydia arrange everything for you. Show is 8 p.m. live studio DC area. We can fly you out and get you to a motel nearby. Yeah, he sent something similar to me too, and I was like, what the fuck? I'm not trying to do that. We can hang out for 2 hours, talk about current events. I can do a group chat to connect you if you want, or you just send me your email. I can't fly down to DC. I do a daily 3-hour show. You don't do any remotes. We set the show back up in January for in-person. We don't have a way to connect everyone to a Skype call or to display it. We've rejected some centrist and right-wing people for the same thing, so I take no issue if it can't be done. We can try to find a time when you're free to travel. But I get it. It's one of the challenges of getting guests. You and Hasan host your own content, so it's probably harder for you, but I appreciate the enthusiasm. COVID hasn't affected your bringing people into the studio? No one. We actually stopped guests for a while over it. Rogan never did. Then we started up in the past month or so again. Trump never did either. I guess you roll the dice and hope you don't pull a 7. Maybe if I have a day off. I don't know why you suddenly took offense to the above reply. Care to elaborate? You agreed to an in-studio interview for publicity. You lied. I had absolutely no idea you only did in-studio interviews and had no idea you weren't in New Jersey anymore. That last one we did was on Skype. You just wanted to rile up your followers. The tweet said in studio, and we cover travel. You dragged me to rile up your followers, then pretend to be serious, then claimed you were busy, then claimed it was COVID. You're full of shit. I didn't see any travel tweet, dude. How in the world would I have accepted tonight as a date if I thought I had to travel from upstate New York starting at 3 p.m. after my show and get back here by 8:30 to prep for tomorrow's show? That makes no sense. Bullshit. You did a segment pulling clips from my studio show. I don't know why Tim doesn't realize that, like, in a world where, like, Skype and Zoom exists and that Sam Seder actually had done a Zoom conversation with Tim, that, like, Sam Seder, a grown-ass man with children, was actually, like, trying to create, like, a little bit of drama this way and is being dishonest here. I don't get that. I actually don't. I legitimately don't understand how you can, like, claim that is what's going on here, because, like, to me, I look at this and I think, no, he just, like, literally didn't have fucking time. He just and was genuinely confused. But Tim seems legitimately upset. Bullshit. You did a segment pulling clips from my studio. Not to mention if I had a regular pre-record after my regular show. As far as I remember, it wasn't an interview, because you do one interview in studio. How could you possibly assume that you do them in studio? The entire channel you pulled from is a live studio show. You have like 10 channels, no offense, but I don't follow. What? I don't even know if they know. My producer pulled clips. I don't even know if they know. Tim also got mad because Sam makes fun of Dave Rubin. I mean, defending Dave Rubin is a grave offense. You're lying. You directly criticize my opinion. So either you lie in your show or you're lying now. Yes, I directly criticize your opinions. That's why I'm interested in having a conversation with you. See, this is like kind of funny, because it's like the ones about Flint, Michigan. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, I think a lot of people think that, like, oh, my interlocutors know every minutia about my life. And I get it. It's because, you know, we're narcissists, like content creators, I mean. So you just expect people to like know everything about your life when they talk about you. But in reality, like most people are too busy with their own shit, right? So I don't think Sam is lying right now. Like, I don't know the intricacies of Tim's content. I don't know. Like, it's like Dr. Disrespect's wife's anniversary. You know what I mean? Like, how the fuck am I supposed to know, right? Like, what? I don't care. I don't know. Why would I know that? It's insane. The one where I said we need to end the war and use the budget fix the Flint water crisis. Did I comment on that? Yes. What did I say? I agree that it's a human rights offense, if not technically, and I'm happy to end war, but we have the money to fix it. Now he's like debating him over DMs. No, you dragged me for not talking about it. And then it's like, what? He goes, what? Let's see, what else? Note that we do a live in-studio show every day, but almost every one of our guests come on via Ping, a video conference software. Did you just not do research and say random shit to random clips with no research? I don't know what you're referring to. You didn't know what you were commenting on. You never saw my show, and you dragged me for something you claim I didn't talk about, but you do all the time. If you don't want to do an interview with me because you're mad at my critique of your show, then fine, just say that. But you seem to be changing the topic here. You've never seen my show. You used my invitation to trigger your followers, pretending to accept, and privately said no, you're a liar. Oh my God, dude. Why is he like, these messages don't look good. I've seen portions of your show, Tim. If you, like me, do hours a day, have not watched every minute you have produced. So you knew it was a live show with multiple people. Tim, I never suggested in public that you didn't extend an invite. On my show, I explained that I couldn't do it because I was in studio. Can you yourself told me that you didn't have guests the whole year? You publicly agreed to do an in-studio show. I didn't realize it was an in-studio show, Tim. The tweet said live in studio with travel covered. Or at least I didn't realize that you didn't do remote. You and I did a remote interview, for God's sakes. So you are calling me a liar because of a tweet I didn't see, said travel covered, and is supposed to mean no remote interviews. You responded to the tweet. What are you talking about? The tweet said, open the 13th, live in studio. You said yes. Does someone else run your Twitter account? Ha, I wish. Hold on. Let me find it. And then he replies, I can do the 13th. Okay, I just saw that. I assumed I could do remote. Tim, I'm hours from an airport here. It would take me half of a day to get to where you are in DC. What is the first thing I responded with when you DM me? I was surprised that you don't do remote interviews because that's what you did for our last interview. Then you claim I'm lying seems really hard to believe. Like, what's the lie? You publicly agreed to an in-studio show, then privately said you couldn't travel, then publicly tweeted about COVID fears. Look at my DM. I mentioned concern about COVID in our exchange, which he did. And end with maybe if I have a day off. So you drag me over fake claims of an airtight studio. Yeah, maybe if I get a day off, maybe. Tim, I do cartoon for Fox. No one is going into the studios. I filled in on MSNBC for Chris Hayes. There were less people in that studio than there are in your studio, and it's about 10 times the size. Maybe you shouldn't publicly try to drag me unless you know what you're talking about. If I wanted to drag you about how irresponsible that is, I would have dragged you for it. The restrictions here are lifted for what we are doing, and we are following all the guidelines. You don't know what you're talking about. I have friends at hospitals in New York. They're all preparing for a second wave in about 2 weeks. Oh shit. Here, let's get back to the Emma Vigeland.
The purpose for what this show is. When we do
I gotta go
shows
grab
on
the-
Timcast IRL at 8 or so p.m., we'll often have people come in who are either disagree with us on certain issues,
I gotta be back.
and or that's primarily it. When they do, the show transforms from topical news into political and cultural debate. And so we decided we need to make a specific show that just handles those conversations and expands upon them so that we can actually get to the core of what people think, feel, why they want certain policies and why they don't. And a topical news show doesn't really work for that. So Friday mornings, you know, here's what we're going to do. And we were posting this at 1 p.m. Before, but now we'll probably end up doing it live just because. So without further ado, without wasting any of your time, we've got two awesome guests. Sean, do you want to introduce yourself first?
Oh, I'm Sean Fitzgerald. I do YouTube at The Actual Justice Warrior. I cover primarily criminal justice related issues, and I'm happy to be here for your maiden live voyage of the culture war.
And Emma, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Emma Vigeland. I'm the co-host of The Majority Report. Thanks so much, Tim, for having me on. I know that it was a little dicey with you and Sam in terms of him coming on, but I'm happy that you had me on. Honestly.
Absolutely, I'm glad you came.
Yeah,
You know?
and it's. I just want to clear this up because I know that you didn't want to have Sam on because you called him a grifter, right?
Yeah.
And part of the reason that you called him that is because you said that we put your song through a filter on our show, and I just want you to know, I was hosting that day. We don't have the technology to do that, so I did not do that. So there you go.
Yeah, it was like
that up for you.
The song. So that specific issue was the song we put out, played on your show, had like the mids ripped out of it.
We don't have the technological ability to do that. We're just a bunch of leftists with like a soundboard. I promise you, nothing was intentional.
You don't have Audacity? It's free.
Well, no, the issue here is likely
I don't really
that
know. I don't know anything about
if you
audio
don't
tech.
if you don't have proper ingestion, then like the audio is going through a TV or something, it's going to sound really bad.
Right.
So if we were to like play music on the TV and then put the mics up to it, everything would be ripped out from it. And then if we were to say, listen how bad this sounds, it's misleading the average person into thinking that's what the song sounds like when it doesn't.
But I played that, and look, I mean, we're here to have a great discussion, I think. But it's interesting that even though I played it, that was your justification for calling Sam a grifter.
Oh, it's not though. The issue with
Okay.
Sam was that I put out a tweet where I said, we try to invite people on the left all the time. They always say no. And then Sam tweeted challenge accepted or something to that effect, like I'll come on. And I was like, oh, this is great because, Sam was actually the first person to ever shout me out ever in my career.
Yeah.
Praising me. And so I said, we will cover travel and accommodation. We'll fly you out. We'll take care of everything.
Audio now, nerds. That's how y'all sound, chatters that are so focused on Hasan sound. Thank you. Thank you for addressing this. Hey, chat, when you're behaving like an audio pervert, or rather audio pedophile, this is what you look like. This is what you sound like. You're making the audio sound bad.
Let me know what day works for you. And he said something like the 13th. And I was like, this is fantastic. And then he DM'd me and was like, I'm not coming on your show. And I was like,
it was because of COVID restrictions. I've seen the DMs. I told him he should put it on. I've told him he should put it on Twitter, but he's too good of a guy. I mean, maybe.
Well, no, I
will,
published
just to
all the
clarify.
DMs.
Yeah.
Because then what he did was he then, it's mostly water under the bridge, but he made some comment about me backing out or something. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, and then I messaged him. I was like, are you kidding, dude? Like, we're going to pay for everything. And then he was just like, no, I'm not doing it. Are you crazy?
Well, then just do it. Like, I mean, I'm sure he'd be down to come down soon, and you guys could actually hash
the
it
issue
out.
has expanded.
There are no more audio files because your audio is so much echo. They have had enough. I hope you are happy. They were very important. I am devastated to find out that the very important chatters in the community have been lost. They're gone. They're out of here.
Do
you know Emma
more
personally
than
from
that?
TYT?
I mean,
Of
so
course.
at the same time, there was Hassan Piker, who also responded to my tweet. And he said, I'd love to come. And I said, when can you come? And he said, let's figure out a date. And so I DM'd him and he said, I got to be honest, I'm actually concerned about COVID. And I said, totally get it. No worries, man. Thanks for reaching out. And that was the end of it. Sam, however, used it on like a video and then started tweeting about it because it was drumming up a whole bunch of clicks and views. And I'm like, okay, dude, I get it. Interacting with this guy is just going to create drama that he uses to get clicks. I mean, the dude's got like 170 videos about Dave Rubin.
Yeah, we do cover that. I mean, I think part of what we do is we try to respond to some of the right-wing ecosystem on the internet because there's a vacuum truly left. You guys have a lot more money than the left-wing media space. We just try to combat it a little bit.
I think the issue with that, I can understand why you'd say that, but it looks like this is a great way to kick off the show, actually, like the start of the culture war. I actually don't think whatever this space has more money because this is a fractured independent space of varying ideologies.
Tim, I'm in your compound right now.
Yeah, I'm rich.
I live in a one-bedroom. I mean, how did you get rich?
I started a website, took memberships, sold ads on videos.
Yeah, but the reason that you get ads and that we don't is because you more adequately serve capitalism and we challenge it.
We get our ads pulled. What do you mean? There's whole organizations dedicated to getting all of our ads removed.
Right, but the proof is in the pudding and where I'm sitting right now.
So this is memberships. This is almost entirely because people pay to become members of our websites. If the Majority Report, you guys have been around a lot longer than I have. Mm-hmm. The inability to provide a product to a customer does not mean that one political faction has more or is granted more because of capitalism or anything like that. Like if Sam is unable to, Sam's had way more subscribers than me for a long, long time.
Right.
And he just like hit, and I'm not saying this to be like mean. I'm saying if he doesn't know how to turn revenue, the issue is more so you need like a COO or somebody who's going to say, here's how we provide something to a market that generates revenue so we can expand our business. So we're better at that here, I suppose, is the easy way to put it.
Well, no, because what you say here is more attractive to investors and advertisers. We're basically only members and other right-wing media like the Daily Wire and stuff like that. And even what I'm looking at a Rumble, I don't know, what do you call that? Logo right there.
Looks like a rectangle.
That's a David Sachs. That's a venture capital backed venture, I believe. At the very least, Peter Thiel is involved and invested. There's no equivalent on the left.
Why would you be able to get advertisers if like David Pakman and the Young Turks have advertisers? Your content's not like too dissimilar.
We do have advertisers. We just have, advertisers that are a little bit more within our system of values. And we're trying to combat corporate greed. We don't have a ton of advertisers that I think align with leftist, or we have advertisers that we try to include in terms of like leftist values as well. But just by the nature of left versus right, it's asymmetrical warfare. But honestly, Sam should just
you're passing on advertisers that don't align with your values. So like you have
we do
those
the same
options.
thing. We do literally. We have like 4 advertisers. We have like 4.
Right. Okay.
So our website has no advertisers. And it's almost entirely membership funded.
Yeah.
So
look,
everything here is because people give us $10 a month.
We're really trying to cover politics on our program. And I think that's what is like our central focus.
I make a video about me and music.
Well, it was a little fun because it was kind of funny. But Sam comes from a comedy background as well. I would say that I think you misrepresent what our show actually does. The first hour, the free hour of our program before we go to the membership portion is one that we literally have experts on Social Security, on international politics. It's not, honestly, something that is conducive to, it's dry. It's not conducive necessarily to a ton of capital investment in advertisers. And we're trying to make a difference in the world.
We don't have investment or, we have like 4 advertisers. Actually, we have 0 advertisers, and we got rid of them all.
Okay.
So we ended all of our advertisers. To be fair, on the podcast version of things, I think we have like 6. On the YouTube side of things, we've actually gotten rid of all advertisements. So now it's just like whatever YouTube does, they do.
Right.
And then we're starting our own companies. The reason we started our own coffee company, it's because I'm not going to say the name of this person, but there are organizations that lie in order to get our ads pulled. And so that's happened to us. One example is that there's, I don't get into too much of it, but there's a group that has argued that I have claimed that Donald Trump won in 2020, and they've used that to raise tens of thousands of dollars.
Okay.
I never said Donald Trump won in 2020. In fact, since Joe Biden got inaugurated, I said Trump lost, and these people need to accept it.
Right. Well, you said there might be a race war. There was that.
When did I say that?
I'm not sure, but you also said that.
I don't think that's a true thing.
The 10-year-old who got an abortion, who was raped, you call that a hoax. Have you retracted that statement?
So there's very deep context to that. What we're talking about when
that's been
hoax,
proven. Charged. The rapist has been charged, and the doctor who provided the abortion.
Wait, there's deep context to that. I would love to hear what the deep context is. Emma, don't cut him off. I want to know what his deep context is for fucking claiming that a 10-year-old that got raped was a hoax. Is the deep context that he found out that it was like, what was it? It was the parent, and also was it potentially an undocumented immigrant, if I remember correctly? So then it was like, well, then I changed my narrative because I can do propaganda differently.
Abortion fine.
So this is a really good example of the problem in the culture war, I would say. See, you don't know what I actually said, because I didn't say what you're describing.
You did. I just watched it last night.
Right. And so what I said was the fact that they politicized this to win a political point is the hoax, not that the child was abused.
How does that constitute a hoax, Tim?
So like, let's say there's what's a good example of this? Ahmaud Arbery. Ahmaud Arbery is a really great example, right? So,
so he just like doesn't understand. Yeah.
It's possible that the little girl would not have been able to get the services she needed because there's no way she could handle this pregnancy. It's sad that the life of the baby will be terminated, but probably would be considered to be not viable anyway. Now, look, there's a middle ground here, and I think Daily Mail hits on it.
There's a middle ground in this conversation about a 10-year-old rape victim getting an abortion.
There's no guarantee she would have gotten the services, but hold on there a minute. Why didn't the left report the rape? Why didn't they go in Ohio to abortion services, Planned Parenthood? Why didn't they say, we want a medical exception for this and make it a pressing public policy issue that they would have won on? I think the issue is the reason it played out the way it did, the reason it was not reported, is that the left would have lost. I will say this. This one's not a clear-cut hoax in the sense that someone made up a fake story. It's a hoax in the manufacture of the story to a certain degree. It is possible. The little girl would have went to the hospital and they would have said, no, you're carrying this baby. We won't do it. And the government would have said no. But I really, really doubt it. You think anyone in politics in Ohio is going to accept a 10-year-old rape victim being forced to carry a baby? That is just so far beyond reproach. You can already see when the story was presumed to be false, David Yost says, well, you don't have to leave. We would take care of this. If the left...
Yeah, there's definitely Republicans who 100% would and do actively advocate for it. Some of them, I believe, are in your audience, which is precisely the reason why you keep both sizing a situation that is like truly one of the grossest and most immediate consequences of abortion becoming criminalized, right? So you already know that. You already know that they exist. That's why you're doing the both sides shit, okay? You literally talked about it like the baby being terminated when the person, the victim that you're talking about is literally a fucking baby. Anyway, I love this because he's like, oh yeah, no, the hoax is actually that the media didn't operate in the way that I want them to. Why didn't the left mobilize ahead of time? Yeah, they waited. They forced, here's what the left did, guys. You ready? The left forced the Republicans' hands into criminalizing abortion in the state of Ohio and everywhere else. After the left voted for Donald Trump to be president because everyone's an accelerationist, the left is the reason why the Federalist Society was created, and it had a 40-year-long project in basically destroying Roe v. Wade on top of many other civil liberties and protections. The left did all of this, put billions of dollars into the Federalist Society, got Amy Covid Barrett elected, killed Ruth Bader Ginsburg when she was living a very vibrant life at the young age of 973 as a Supreme Court justice. The left was the one who stopped Merrick Garland from being appointed under the Obama's second term. The left has done all of this stuff exclusively so they could get this fucking story out there to make Ohio look bad. Mission accomplished. We did it, folks. That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Reported the crime. If the left went to Planned Parenthood and said, we want the abortion, it would have happened. And there'd be no story. There'd be no PR campaign.
You just said there would be a story. If they made a story happen, like as though, you know, you got beat reporters all around the fucking country looking for 10-year-olds that have been raped and are looking for abortions. Like, the fuck kind of situation is this? They're like, why didn't they know that this was happening? Why didn't the leftist news cover the rape as it was happening. Why weren't they in the room stopping the rape from happening? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? At no part is there like a left that played a role in this. It's just like national news covering a story of horrific structural violence, and it's understandable, foreseeable, and often warned about consequences. That's it. That's what happened here. They fucking openly said that it would happen, and it happened.
And the right would have said, see, the system works. Imagine what would happen if a little girl went to a clinic and they denied her. And then the left went, look at what's happening. That would have been a...
Wait, this is why the story... Is Tim Pool describing literally what happened while simultaneously claiming that that's not what happened and the news media is lying about it, and then turning around and telling Emma that it's like, it's actually not a hoax that the little girl was raped, but a hoax that like the media lied about the circumstances?
Powerful smack in the face of what was happening with these bills, with these heartbeat bills. There's a reason why they didn't try, because the greater possibility was medical exemption. There's no rape kit. There were no criminal.
Dude, wait. No, he is saying it's a fucking hoax. He's saying that that this is not real. Like, this story never happened. He's saying there's no rape kit.
Charges, not until now. Why didn't anyone, knowing this girl, report this? This is why I say, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe it is a hoax. Now, as to my previous statements, I want to make sure I clarify. I don't like the vague natures of this. There is a possibility that a little girl, a family might say, we go to the hospital and we seek an abortion and they don't give it to you. Well, that's it. It's over. You're done. You will carry it and they will not let you leave. And then what do we do? That's possible. And that's the kind of thing we need to be careful about. But I will say the opportunity for the left here was the PR move, which says to me,
yeah, I mean, dude, I'm sorry. You said it was a fucking hoax.
No, I'm talking about this example though.
Right,
the one that I just brought up.
So, right. If I can't explain to you that manipulating a story for political gain is the hoax, then I don't know
What's the manipulation?
Oh man, this is an old story. I have to pull it up. I think the issue was that they were able to actually get the treatment in state, but because of the law, they decided to seek it elsewhere. And I said, that is a hoax. I didn't say that it was a hoax that the girl was abused. I said...
You literally said there is no rape kit. Like, you absolutely implied that given that there was no fucking rape kit and no other like coverage of the situation, you literally said it was a hoax. And also, you also said you're disappointed that the left didn't weaponize this story earlier. You said both of those things because that's how you operate. You say things on both sides of the argument so you can always fall back to the other side when you are corrected. Also, the fucking law says that that little girl can't get an abortion in the state of Ohio. Even if the parents never actually went to a Planned Parenthood or never actually went to an abortion clinic and immediately went out of state to get an abortion, they're following the fucking rules. The idea that once these laws have passed and like these parents, the mom is supposed to like put herself up for criminal charges to save the life of her child is the story. And the story would never fucking exist. The story would never exist if it wasn't for Republicans in the state of Ohio creating this law. I'm so confused, dude.
If they could have sought treatment in state under the exemption, I think it was Ohio, right? There was an exemption saying in the cases of abuse, the treatments are permitted. But they decided to make a public statement and leave the state anyway. I said, that is a hoax.
It was not a public statement.
Well, but that's my point.
No, rape and incest exemptions are non-actionable. This is like well documented with abortion activists. How long do you think it takes to prove a rape or incest case before you're able to use that carve out to actually get an abortion?
Yeah, this is also the other side of the equation. Yeah. Rape and incest cases are impossible to fucking prove in the time frame that you can get an abortion. She's so good. She just popped off.
Well, doesn't it depend on how the law is written? Do you have to prove it, or does it have to be alleged?
I mean, first of all,
let me just answer that
one
point
of the
real quick so we can clarify the thing on.
Sure.
I never said it was a hoax that the girl was abused.
Okay.
That is incorrect.
But
Yeah, you implied it. You definitely implied it.
honestly, this is a part and parcel of what you do is you put that kind of statement out there and then you put caveats in to protect yourself.
Like
but
me saying that someone manipulating a story for political gain is a hoax is
it's not a manipulation. That is the kind of thing that's going to continue to happen as abortion restrictions happen throughout the country.
It's an
It was
opinion.
a particularly egregious example used to shine light on broader restrictions on abortion in this country. I mean, it's an opinion, but you haven't retracted it. It's false.
It's not false. If there is a story and the story is exaggerated or manipulated in an effort to sway people into believing one political faction over the other, you are engaging in a hoax.
I mean, isn't that what you guys do when you post like extreme videos of crime and things like
We
that?
don't do that. What are you talking about?
I mean, you respond to videos that are taken completely out of context, isolated
what?
instances.
I don't think you watch the show because that doesn't sound
I
like
mean,
what
I
we
do a little bit.
No, you don't. Because
Yeah,
we don't
I
do
do.
that.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
Well, that's not true because we don't do that. In fact, one of the points we make specifically is,
You show
especially
subway crime to talk about all these inflated
Yes,
crime numbers.
and-
Crime
and-
is down in New York City in 2023,
and
by every
down,
metric.
down compared to what?
Down compared to 2021 and
But don't
2022.
don't change the subject.
No,
right?
no,
You
I'm
accused
not.
us of publishing videos we
wait a
don't
minute.
publish.
If it's down in 20 compared to 2021, and there was a giant year-over-year increase from 2020 to 2021, then you're talking about something that's
It wasn't
down.
giant. It was a small bump from the
A
pandemic.
47% increase in homicide
a
in the city of New
small
York is not a small bump.
It was homicides have been on a precipitous decline since the 70s, since the 80s,
Okay.
since the 90s. There was a bump because of desperation in the pandemic, and now it's back down in 2023.
So,
That's irrefutable. That's the NYPD's own data. That's on all
Oh my God, she's so good.
major crimes: murders, rapes,
Fuck.
grand larcenies,
So this is
robberies.
This is an argument I'm often confronted with, and it's actually pretty terrible. So crime is down from the peak for sure, right? In some years in New York City, we had 2,100 murders. I think that's the largest ever in the history of the city of New York. However, my standard it's not as bad as the worst time in the history of the city of New York. When I see murders jump year over year from about 319 to 469.
What do you mean year
that's
over year? The 2 years that I just
year
listed?
over year, as in from 2020 to 2021. That would be a year over year
yes.
increase. That is a dramatic increase, and it's the largest since, I believe, 2010. The greatest year over year increase of all time in the city of New York, by the way. But it's all the way
it's
back to
down
2010
again.
numbers.
It's down
Yeah,
again.
it's down compared to the increase, but it's not down compared to 2019.
This was a once in a lifetime pandemic where people's desperation and their mental health was severely harmed. People were out of work, and that kind of desperation leads to more crime. That's the reality of how crime works. Poverty leads to crime.
This
I would
is-
imagine
this is
that.
inaccurate.
Why do you think 25 people got shoved in front of trains last year?
I don't know, dude.
Well, that's a
What?
good question. You're saying that you're saying poverty and desperation results in crime. I'm wondering why it is that you've had these homeless guys. They've been predominant. I think it's almost entirely these homeless guys shoving people in front of trains. Last year it was 25, and so that is
So that's a mental health problem. I mean, we do have a mental health problem in this country. We have an issue with not having socialized healthcare, where people are unable to access healthcare, mental health care in particular, but also every other kind of healthcare. I mean, 28 million uninsured people in this country. That's a massive problem. I mean,
serious problem.
what is your stance on Medicare for all and healthcare?
I'm
being
for
socialized?
universal healthcare.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, I think we'd have to have some kind of like basic coverage for universal standard, meaning like if you're having an episode, this is particularly where we bring you when we help you. If you're broken bones, flu, things that it's like relatively simple and knowledge based.
God damn,
the challenge
dude.
with it.
34 MKD50 has gifted like 1,000 subs, and I feel like it just sits here and waits for the top of the hour to come, so that 50 motherfuckers won't see the ads at the top of the hour. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. It is 11, by the way. We're gonna slowly but surely move over. I'm waiting on William Wallace to get up, old Billy Ichiban to get up. and we're going to get started on our day, hopefully. 34 MKD 50 with another 50 gifted subs. Fucking insane. Kensington 02, thank you for the 5 gifted.
Is that we got limited space, we got limited doctors, but you know, I don't think we can function as a society if we have people just dying in the streets.
XVX
like
Colin with the
drug
20.
abuse and, you know,
well, then you
people
should
losing their minds.
promote housing first policies on your program. Like in Houston, what they did, there was a pilot program.
Why does that sound like a fart every time? What is that sound? It sounds like a fart, like, right? Am I crazy?
Under Obama,
Like-
it was a HUD grant. And they reduced homelessness by 63% over 10 years because they guaranteed housing. Do you think that the 25 examples that you cite last year, and there's like over 2 million subway riders a day. So you cherry picking that, I feel like is...
It's not cherry picking. It's you asked, or you mentioned that desperation leads to crime.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering why it is specifically that we saw this increase. Is it like someone's desperate, but why murder somebody? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they're experiencing a mental health episode. We do not have adequate health care in this country, mental health care. I hear a lot of talk often after mass shootings that mental health is the most important thing in this country. Then we should have socialized healthcare so everyone can have access to it. And that paired with a housing first policy where cities don't become urban centers for just bridge and tunnelers who want to come in and see a show, or for restaurant associations, where places where people can actually live and there's guaranteed housing for people. If we were able to do that, we would be able to drastically reduce the crime that you guys are talking about here.
So when you're talking about poverty leading to crime, like what is that based on? Because after prohibition was repealed,
Wait, this motherfucker's not over here stating that, like, poverty is not linked to crime, right? He's not going to say that. There's no shot. That's cool. I like that. Actually, you know what? I take it back. I like that. I think that's cool. You just, like, look at things that are, that have been proven time and time again historically and just say, nah. Super base, he's actually saying the rich are the criminals. No way. Wait, really? No shot. He's not going to say that. All right, let's see.
All of human history.
during the Great Depression, crime fell. During the Great Recession, people with your line of thinking thought we would see a crime spike nationwide. It didn't happen. You can actually look at the crime wave if you wanted to pull it up. That didn't occur. And that was the largest recession in the history of this country since the Great Depression. So what we've seen throughout American history is poverty not leading to crime. What we actually see is the opposite, that crime drives areas into poverty. We look at store closures across the country due to the fact that we have shops.
Wait, what? Okay, hold on. You can't do this. You can't just like point to one faulty instance, which I don't even know what kind of data he has to back that up, really, and just overlook every single study conducted on this. Okay? Yes, I definitely did rape and pillage, and thus my community is poor. Why did I rape and pillage? Who cares? He's saying the rich person's poverty doesn't create crime. Okay, hold on. I need to understand what he's trying to fucking. This is new.
Shoplifting. That leads to decaying in the neighborhoods. When people abandon the neighborhoods. And
So why is that happening? Someone needs to understand. Someone needs to ask him, why does that happen? Like, who is shoplifting and why are they shoplifting to begin with? If there is a shoplifting happening, does that materialize because like they're bad people? Or does that happen on its own? Is it like, are parents educating them to say like shoplifting is great? He's playing with anomalies in the stats. Yeah. Like how, but also he hasn't answered that part of the question. He said 2 minutes ago, the last bit of crime spike was in 2010. And then he said the 2008 crash didn't cause more crime. He's saying crime makes businesses close and people become poor because of that. He's defending capitalism in the most stupid way. Okay, but why did the original crime happen? I get that he's saying poverty doesn't cause crime. Crime causes poverty, right? And it is true. Crime does cause poverty, just not the fucking crime he's thinking. Okay? Like criminal misconduct from those who have almost full control over how society operates is why poverty does happen at a massive scale. It's corporate monopolization. It's a lack of trust busting from the federal government. These are the reasons why the structural violence of poverty is a thing that happens. So he would be kind of fucking cool if he was making that argument. He's like, yeah, crime is the reason why poverty happens, but it's not the crime you think. The crime you think, petty crime, shoplifting and the like, maybe even grand larceny, and the violent crimes associated with certain communities, like poor communities, that is a consequence of the criminal misconduct that is not necessarily considered criminal. So I do agree with that. But I don't think he's saying that. I think he's probably just trying to do a 1350 type situation.
You see this blight that has a psychological impact on people, and that drives...
But like, I'll be honest, if he dropped that on me mid-convo, I'd be like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, because sometimes it takes a while for you to fully grasp. When you're debating a right-winger, most of the time they're NPCs using fucking talking points that I've heard a million times over and know how to adequately address. But sometimes you got motherfuckers like this guy where they just say something so out of pocket, so entirely just looking at the face of all matter of empirical evidence that suggests the exact opposite, and just hit you with this curveball where you go, whoa, what the fuck? And that's actually kind of scary, because when you can't address that adequately, when you don't even fully grasp the creative new lie that someone is telling you, whether it be taking advantage of cherry picking and taking advantage of like some absurd moment in time, right? You might not be able to adequately address it in that moment. Like I still arrived at that conclusion. I just had to understand exactly what he was saying, right?
People to commit these crimes.
I mean, you're working backwards from the...
No, you're actually working backwards.
Wait, but no. Poverty, clearly, this is a very simple concept, leads to something like shoplifting. Why would someone shoplift based on a personal pathology? They're shoplifting because they're desperate.
Not necessarily. So we have a lot of lax shoplifting laws in California, for example.
So
and what they find is we have a lot of organized retail theft because there's no consequences for it.
That's profit.
For instance,
people are trying to make money.
Well,
they're desperate, and we have untold levels of income inequality in this country.
Well, is it income inequality or poverty?
Since the late 70s, 9.
Oh, that is true. Income inequality is more significant than poverty in and of itself. I mean, income inequality and poverty go hand in hand. But in order to steal, there has to be a have next to a have not. You know what I mean? So that component is correct. That component is correct. Crime happens when structural violence of poverty is impacting poor communities, okay, who then will steal from those who do have it, right? Like, that's how it works. They're not gonna fucking steal from one another. Your neighbor doesn't have shit either. So that's why it happens in the way that it does.
100%. That's the increase in CEO pay versus 12% for the working class in this country. You don't think that leads to levels of desperation?
So wait, is income inequality the cause, or is poverty the cause? Because those are two different things.
I mean, they...
What? No, it's not. No, it's not. Income inequality is not separate or removed from poverty. Income inequality implies poverty, okay? What the fuck? Income inequality does not talk about like an even scale where everyone is like rich or omega rich. No one is talking about that. Okay? No one is talking about that. That is so stupid. As a matter of fact, they would say there's very little income inequality in a situation where like you have a comfortable middle class and some wealthy people on top of that as well. Like a fat chunk of the middle class plus some wealthy people and some poor people on the other side would mean that there is less income inequality. That's what they would fucking talk about. That's a great indicator that there is less crime overall as well.
They go hand in hand.
They really don't.
Yes, they do. Because all
Not
the
at
wealth
all.
is going towards the CEOs and to the billionaires in this country.
But it's not
and
a zero-sum
trickling
economy.
down.
But what
I don't know
does
what
it
that
But also, if income inequality is the driver of crime, then how come we saw a giant crime decline after the mid-90s when income inequality was going up? In fact, we saw this happen all the way to 2019.
Can you repeat that?
We had a giant crime decline from around 1995, 1996 nationwide from all the way to 2019 while income inequality was rising during that period of time.
Right.
So why would that occur if income inequality is driving crime?
I mean, I'm not exactly sure you're the expert, but I do know that you're saying that there was an increase in crime in 2021 and 2022,
Well,
and it doesn't matter now
know
that
if you
it's
can see
going back
this.
down to 2023 levels.
This is just New York
I can't
City.
see this. Yeah.
I just pulled up New York City.
Look at that. Right. Exactly.
So at the start of 1990, crime was at its highest and it dropped.
This is where you're supposed to hit the classic, dude. I'm surprised Emma didn't hit the classic Sam Seder. Well, there's a lot of... I can't do a Sam Seder. There's a lot of different evidence on this, but... a leading theory is lead poisoning. Larceny cases in Cali is nowhere near Texas or Southern Republican state.
Rather massively
Yes.
into just before 2000, where it continued to decline. And then from 2019 into 2020, we see a huge increase. That's pre-pandemic. So there's a couple interesting things to point out there.
No, to be clear, that's not
Also, this
that's not
quote- this
pre-pandemic. That's the year-over-year increase. So
Right.
it would be in the year 2020. To be clear, so 2019 would be the low number.
The increase actually, the draw is before 2020, meaning that could be 2018 to 19 then, if that's the point you're making.
No, it's I've seen these numbers. I'm telling you, you're reading this chart wrong because in New York City, do they have the raw number of homicides on the side? If you
But
track
this-
it, you have around
yeah, this is just
because this
murders
is
too,
just
by the way.
murders right here.
Right.
You
Guys-
have about 300, and then it jumps to about 469.
I mean, crime dropped everywhere throughout the country since lead gasoline was outlawed. There
she
is
did
a
Okay, so he's gonna say, what is the counter to this? The lead gasoline. The counter to it is actually what? Like fucking. It's not that big of a decrease in where you add a control factor. That's what he's probably gonna say. He's gonna be like, you activated my trap card.
massive connection, lead paint, lead gasoline predominantly affecting poor and lower income people, which probably did contribute to some of the increase in volatility in that
Well,
kind of instance.
I completely agree. I read that report. It was fascinating that when we started taking lead out of the atmosphere, crime started to drop. But that would also make the argument that it's not poverty driving crime. It was like chemical.
What communities have lead? What communities are more frequently utilizing lead? What communities had cheaper substitutes?
Imbalance or something.
It's both. It's absolutely both.
Well, I think it would.
Real-
I think it
real-
would play a role. Like the lead would play a role because it was in gasoline, so it's in
Right, it's
the air.
everywhere.
Yeah, so it's
And we know
impacting everyone.
it depresses brain function and things like that.
True,
Yeah.
but I think public policy has a huge impact as well because again, we saw a dramatic crime. This crime wave started in the 90s.
By the way, one thing that they did right there that was like, I think inappropriate is when you're talking about crime and how it's linked to poverty, they immediately went to murder. Okay? And murder, just like all matter of crime, all matter of violent crime in general, absolutely is related to poverty and income inequality. However, it is also the one fucking type of violent crime that doesn't always have to be about income inequality. Like there can be different components as to why it skyrockets or why it goes up. There could literally be fucking, especially when you're talking about like homicides and whatnot. It's not. It still can be. It could be done due to all the fucking people living in close proximity to one another. The reason why it dipped is maybe because people weren't out in the fucking streets It's still going to be, a lot of it has to do with guns and the mass availability of guns. Like, there are so many different components into when you're looking at the murder rate. Or more importantly than that, murder can also be a byproduct of homicides, especially in places like Los Angeles and whatnot. Can be a byproduct of gang activity or turf wars, things of that nature that can heat up due to certain like political conflicts that are happening in these local areas. Whereas that will even itself out. That will even itself out over a long enough timeline.
1960s, right? And this is when we started embracing this idea that poverty was the root cause of crime, that this was more the realm of the social workers, all things that sound really familiar to today. And from 1960 all the way to 1979, the incarceration rate, even though in raw numbers it was rising, was dropping per capita. So we saw this crime increase, and what you would end up getting in 1979 for murder on average was something like 5 years. For rape, it was something like 3.4 years. And obviously, like, this created a problem because we just weren't prosecuting people. This is why we ended up going with a mass incarceration solution, which, by the way, did work. And all these other policies to get tough on crime. You laugh, but you're definitely
No, I mean,
wrong.
mass incarceration, we incarcerate more people than any other country.
We have the highest rate of violent crime for any modern Western country.
I mean, I don't have that statistic in front of me, but we still... So how does that connect to the mass incarceration point? If it worked, then what does the violent crime rate have to do with it? You just want to warehouse more people?
No, I didn't say... when I say it worked, we had an...
Bro's pro crime bill in the year of our Lord. It's just funny to say that we have the highest violent crime out of any developed nation, and then simultaneously say mass incarceration works, because we also have the highest rate of mass incarceration out of not just the developed world, but literally the third world even. So like, if that was a demonstrable success, then the United States of America would be like Japan. You know what I mean? A fucking crime-free society, supposedly, which Japan isn't, but I'm just saying that. I'm embellishing for the sake of argument. Okay? Ask the Yakuza, those dudes got fucked up. Those are rookie incarceration numbers. You got to get those numbers up. This is the one guy who reads the data but is purposely obtuse with his interpretation. But it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all, because if mass incarceration was a demonstrable success, then in the United States of America, we would have no fucking crime.
We started expanding the prison population seriously in the 1980s to the 1990s. If you go to the Brennan Center for Criminal Justice, which is a left-wing organization, they say post the year 2000, mass incarceration lost its effectiveness. But most of the mass incarceration was pre the year 2000. So obviously it had some impact, and it ranges. Low estimates are about 6% on the crime rate, which is very low, but the high estimates are about 30%. And the reason it worked is because the philosophy behind mass incarceration is pretty simple. What you're trying to do is incapacitate criminals, because the same criminals are often reoffending. You brought up shoplifting earlier. You can actually pull up an article to find out that the same 300 people in New York City represent a third of the shoplifting arrests total for a single year.
Probably because
This
they're
is because they're
incredibly
repeat offenders.
impoverished and they need to find a way to actually sustain their livelihoods in this country.
That's put a very good way. That's phrased very well, to maintain their livelihoods.
Well, no, I mean, no, their life is a better way to maintain.
Sure. But like, I guess my point is, some of them certainly are desperate. But when you see videos of a guy like shoveling stuff into a garbage bag, that's not desperation.
But again, this is what you do, Tim. You return to anecdotal examples when I'm trying to talk about.
We're talking about just the 300 people.
And I am talking
which is the anecdotal evidence.
What 300 people?
He said the same 300 people, the ones committing the crime. I said, right.
Third of the shoplifting arrests in New York
These specific
City.
individuals are doing it for profit.
Okay, so we should have a system of mass incarceration, because there are 300.
I didn't say that.
Because I'm talking to you now. There are 300.
Even when you talk about recidivism, which is a little bit trickier. Sorry, I'm juggling like 8 different things right now at the same time, boys. I apologize. Getting new information. 300 guys with garbage bags shoveling all the loot. Okay. Listen, even when you're talking about recidivism, which the data is a little bit less consistent on. Okay. There's still plenty of evidence that shows that recidivism rates are lower in countries where they have less of a focus on incarceration and more of a focus on rehabilitation, right? Norway is the example that we use all the fucking time. The more humane the prison conditions are, the more of a focus that people have, the more of a focus that systems have in rehabilitating people and reintegrating them into society, the less likely those people are to commit crimes and reoffend. But also on top of that, there's obviously adequate social safety nets. If the system doesn't care about you, of course you will abuse the system and recommit crimes. Yeah. They're also making an insane point. If you need toilet paper, why are you stealing iPhones? Yeah. It's one of my favorite takes, because it's like, bro, you know how many fucking, people always say, I won't even use the toilet paper one. I'll use the bread, right? If you're hungry, why are you not stealing bread? Why are you stealing a Louis Vuitton bag? And it's like, bitch, you think they're going to eat the Louis Vuitton bag? You know how many fucking loaves of bread you can buy with a Louis Vuitton bag, dumbass? Bread goes bad after a while. But if you fucking steal a television, or if you steal a fucking Louis Vuitton bag, you can buy loaves of bread for a very long time. Okay? The fuck? Plus, loaves of bread can't pay for the fucking rent either.
Repeat offenders?
No, we should incapacitate repeat offenders so they stop offending.
Got
so
it.
If
so
you're
this is
arrested,
all about the fact that you're not in favor
of
bail reform, because in New York State, which is now currently being rolled back, we decided that we weren't going to require cash bail for nonviolent felonies and for misdemeanors. And you think that that's a good policy?
To not require cash bail?
Yeah.
No,
I think that we're rolling it back.
I think look, if you're concerned about people not being able to get out of jail because of their financial means, then I can understand reducing or even eliminating the cash bail system. Because I understand if you don't have a lot of money, even though you really only have to throw down 10% for bail in most cases, unless it's like a set figure for the bond.
She should turn around and say incapacitate. Seems like an interesting term to use. Okay. What if you permanently incapacitated someone when they did a crime, like by, engaging in capital punishment, which is allowed? In that case, like, do you think that is valid? What's the ultimate goal here? Hold on, bro. How about you can't complain about not being able to afford the rent and insist on living in Los Angeles or another city, move to rural areas, or should the government bus those people to affordable housing zones? First of all, I love the idea. Okay, you already arrived at like the main point of contention here, or at least one component, okay, of why it's so expensive to be poor, but you don't even fucking realize it, dumbass. Exactly. How is someone moving to a fucking rural area, okay, and then still surviving? How? Does the government have this service already? They don't. Moving isn't cheap, okay? The cities are poor. Get them out of there. What? Brother, you literally, inside of your brain, you also recognize, like there's a spark of light in there, okay? You brought something up. We're busing people from the border right now. Oh my God, you're just a fucking stupid racist. Jesus Christ. Okay, listen. I want to tap in to the spark in your mind that made you say, or should the government bus those people to affordable housing zones? Okay? Just stop being a fucking dumbass who's like afraid of brown people for like 3 seconds. Okay? And just search within yourself as to why you said, should the government bus those people to affordable housing zones? Okay? There's a spark in there that made you recognize that, like, racist, there are like 30 different countries in the border and they are not brown. Oh. There is no hope. I was wrong. It's not worth the energy. The spark is just not sparking, dude. Yeah. There are like 30 different countries at the border and they are not brown. I don't even know what the fuck he's trying to say. No, spark it up. Tell me. I already told you. You're not going to be able to fucking recognize it, you idiot. Moving is expensive. Changing your entire life and uprooting yourself is not only an expensive endeavor, but is a very difficult one on top of that. You have no indication or no guarantee that you're going to find a fucking job that is similar at the second place that you move to, even if you have a little bit of capital to be able to do such a thing. And then on top of that, if you want to move to a cheaper area and then go back to the work where you already are working in the city, there is no adequate, cheap alternative to transit, okay? That's why I was talking about the busing example, but it turns out you're just fucking an idiot and you just use the busing thing because you want to talk about how like the government's, but Joe Brandon's busing Mexicans over to Yuma. Fuck you. I'm saying that the people at the border are not brown. There are other people that come from other countries. Yeah, I got it, dude. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know. You got it. Yeah, Los Angeles is an exclusively poor hellscape as well. Bro thinks Joe Biden is busing. Anyway, let's continue with this.
Then I get that argument. But what you need, and the state of New York desperately needs this, is some kind of threat assessment. Like you should be able to hold somebody if they present themselves as a danger or a repeat offender, regardless of bail, without bail, so that they don't continue to reoffend.
Okay, but do you know what happens when people are held in Rikers, for example, in a pre-detention center? How many deaths have happened there before they're even convicted of a crime?
Look, again, that's an issue for how the jailing system works in New York City, and I am in favor of building out the jail capacity because
you're talking about cash bail, though. That is exactly the point that we're discussing here.
Yeah.
Right. So you're in favor of people being held before they're convicted of a crime.
Yes.
In Rikers.
If they show a propensity to reoffend, 100%.
What is a propensity to reoffend?
A history, like being arrested over and over again, prior convictions, yes.
So you think that they should be held in a prison that has been...
It's a jail, but yes.
Or jail, excuse me. A jail that has been proven to be one of the worst conditions in the country.
Well, it doesn't have to be specifically Rikers Island.
Dozens of deaths just this year, even if they haven't been convicted of a crime.
Convicted of a crime. Yeah, for sure.
But
that's very anti-constitutional and anti-democratic.
How is it anti-constitutional?
The Fourth Amendment. It violates the Fourth Amendment.
Protects you from illegal search and seizures.
Well, I mean, you are the right to a speedy trial. People are held. Fifth Amendment. Yes.
I do think we should have reform on the speedy trial side, but the idea that it's unconstitutional to hold somebody pre-trial is ridiculous. Our law is based on English common law.
Damn.
We're all bad. Our law is based on English common law. And the reason we have jails is that you would actually be held in a dungeon awaiting trial. So it's like built into the system. Bail is like a courtesy. It's actually a progressive reform in response to that, where you lay down some kind of capital in place of yourself.
Bro, what's next, bro? Is he going to advocate for Iron Maidens? Like, they used it. Guys, you don't understand. Under common law, the Vikings also utilized the blood eagle method, which was a very successful and significantly more successful measure of like lowering recidivism rates when you fucking ripped out the lungs of like the village idiot from behind and made it look like eagle wings. This was a very successful thing. So we should probably do that. It seems like a good idea. We should do the Iron Maiden as well. The progressive stance adopted in the fucking 14th century. He's like talking about progress, criminal justice progress. And whenever the fuck this was first implemented, that's crazy.
How money do you want to spend on jails in New York City?
As much as it takes.
So just warehousing people before they're convicted of anything.
Well, it's not warehousing everybody, but if you have a propensity to reoffend, I think judges should be able to have judgment. It's kind of in the name, and assess these people and hold them.
So you just want to give it to the judgment of the judges. And it doesn't.
Yes, I would like the judges to have judgment. Yes.
Okay, but there should be guardrails in place to prevent judges from. I mean, judges are human beings; they can be unjust as well. I don't really put them on the pedestal that you do.
Obviously, I'm not in favor of like $1 million bond for somebody who's arrested for shoplifting, even if they're arrested 27 times. So yeah, you can have guardrails from the legislature, but they can't assess dangerousness right now in the state of New York.
They assess it in ways. The reason we put this law into place, which is now being rolled back, that were deemed inherently racist. They deem that it was disproportionately black and brown people who are warehouse
Okay, but how's
and
that
Rikers.
racist though?
Because at their discretion, it was implemented in a racist way. It's
But
the
if you
same
look
way
at the
that
crime
stop and frisk.
statistics,
Thank you,
they're
Well, there you
34
go.
MKD.
So this is what the reality is for you: is you believe that black and Hispanic people inherently are committing.
When did I say
more
inherently?
crimes. I mean,
If you pull up like NYPD crime data, for instance, since you brought up stop and frisk, you can look at the shootings, like the shooting suspects in any given year. And if you find me a year where 92% or greater is not black or Hispanic in terms of the shooting suspects, then I mean, I would be shocked because I've looked at it for the past 20 years.
So
Yes,
that's
suspects.
the cop's discretion. So
No, it's you get a report,
Right.
and you get a description of the suspect, and they are 92% every single year or above black or Hispanic.
Can I tell you guys a very famous New York story? There was
Wait, no, you don't interject at that point. My man is literally just what the fuck? He did the 1350, but with like additional elaborations. First of all, the reason why stop and frisk was fucking implemented was literally here's two things he did. Okay, are you ready for this? Here's two things that are really fucked up about this. He's playing fast and loose with the data. The reason why stop and frisk was implemented was to target guns in the city. Okay? Yeah, he didn't even say 1350. He said 1392. Okay? Like, it's not even crime data at that point. And even if you were looking at crime data, those aren't even like clearance rates. Those aren't convictions. Those are just arrests, okay? 1350 is just arrests. He didn't even do 1350 arrest data. He did 1392 with suspect data, okay? Like, the famous 1350 isn't even good to use as a fucking metric for anything because it's not actual criminal convictions. It's quite literally just arrests, okay? Arrests. So the fact that he did not 1350 but 1392 is fucking insane, okay? That's wild. Ay, ay, ay. By the way, this whole convo started because Tim claimed they never exaggerate or sensationalize stories, by the way. Oof. But interjecting here with the anecdotal story is fucking crazy. And ultimately, the stop and frisk thing was I'm doing like 8 different things while I'm trying to simultaneously talk against these insane talking points. Stop and frisk was implemented for gun control, as a gun control metric, okay? As a measure to find guns on people and arrest them and take their guns away, okay? It was a demonstrable failure for that process because they never, and you want to know what fucking 90% stat that he's not talking about? What was it, like 90% of people that were stopped by stop and frisk were black and brown people. And on top of that, they never actually found fucking anything on these people that were related to guns for the most part. And that there was a way higher likelihood of finding guns on white people in the state of New York than black people in New York City in general. Hold on, guys. 1 second. It is a direct violation of the Fourth Amendment. Yes, it's fucking bullshit. Yeah, whites were more likely to have guns and drugs, but it was still like less than 3% of the stops that yielded anything.
Cop. And he went to Central Park and started giving out tickets to white couples having picnics and drinking wine. And he said public alcohol consumption is a crime in the city. And he started giving these uppity yuppies tickets.
Right.
He got in serious trouble. The reason he did it was because the cops would go into the black neighborhoods and give people drinking 40s on their stoops tickets. And he said, how can these people at their own homes, on their own porches, get a ticket for drinking booze? Then when I go into Central Park and say, we're going to apply the same standard, I get in trouble for it. So New York's got serious problems. Even Bloomberg, like that guy's awful. He made a bunch of like. I'm not going to say that.
The reason I just want to cut you off because you mentioned Bloomberg, and I want to respond to what you said. Under Bloomberg, 90% of the stop and frisks that were done were, by the way, they didn't find anything, but 90% targeted black and brown people. So you're taking.
So the highest number, by the way, is 86%, not 90%. But go ahead.
You're taking the data and using what the cops did, where they over-police in certain areas, and then pretending like there's an overrepresentation inherently criminally in those kinds of populations, and it's a racist argument.
So you're wrong in a bunch of different ways, so let me just like run through them. So first and foremost, the highest year was 86%, and that was the year with the dramatic increase in stops. And if you ask me if I'm in favor of just expanding stop and frisk, which is different from Giuliani's stop, question, and frisk, although you might not be interested in that specific difference, to the levels that Bloomberg did, I would say it's unnecessary. It aggravates people. It creates a whole bunch of problems. That being said, they're not over-targeted because, again, there is no year during the entire tenure of Bloomberg where the shooting suspects were any less than 92%. So what the NYPD does, because it's the most data-driven police force in the entire world, is they map crime through a system called CompStat. When there's a lot of shootings in a specific area, they send the police to those areas. The stops, questions, and frisks all relate to where the shootings are, and it just so happens to be
That's fucking bullshit. That's not. He is literally claiming that the NYPD is operating. Okay, here's what he's doing. He's making it seem like the NYPD is operating in the immediate aftermath of a fucking shooting that happened in a particular neighborhood, and that's why they're doing stop and frisk measures there. That is a lie. It is a never-ending, permanent, occupying state. Okay? That's bullshit. That is absolute fucking bullshit. He's making it seem like the NYPD only does stop and frisk whenever the fuck a shooting happens. It's like, no, that's not real. That's literally not real at all. No. You're lying to try and make it seem like it is perfectly valid to engage in stop and frisk in black neighborhoods by saying it's because that's where the shootings are happening. Look at where the shootings happen in New York. That's why they're doing it. It's bullshit. And I've heard it a million times over. He just adds like additional seasoning. This is his style, it seems. That he takes like very common right-wing arguments and adds like a little bit of a spin on it, so it comes across like a little bit more different than what you have experienced or what you've encountered before.
Those areas are black or Hispanic.
Right, but do you get accosted on the street by cops regularly in New York City?
It happened to me when I was younger, yes, but like not
okay.
now.
But do you understand
But to your point about hit rate, because you brought it up, hit rate was not the goal of stop, question, and frisk. Like, this is one of the things where you're like...
No, he is... I think he's doing that. I don't think he's saying that. He's saying that they do stop and frisk in neighborhoods where shootings happen, not right after a shooting. It is stupid because it doesn't work well to catch people who shouldn't have weapons and aggravates people who are innocent. Yeah, that second part is true. No, but I do think that he is trying to... He's, I think, trying to get people who are on his side to come to that conclusion. Because I've heard it a million times over, the idea like, well, they're doing stop and frisk in areas where shootings are happening, and that's why they're doing it. But he made it seem like, they go right after. They go right after a shooting. Like, he's just trying to make it seem as though the NYPD has to be there doing stop and frisk when it's a permanent state and not immediately in the aftermath of a shooting. Which, by the way, even if it was racial profiling immediately in the aftermath of a shooting, it would still be bad police work. That's not how you're supposed to fucking do police work. You can't do cattle calls, okay, on an entire population on the basis of their skin color. Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
Oh, well, this program didn't work because my standard that I look for arbitrarily shows that it was ineffective. That's like saying a plane doesn't work because it's not a good submarine.
No, it's
like
not
that doesn't
arbitrary.
make any sense.
90% of the stop and frisk came up with nothing.
True, but the point was to deter the carrying of firearms.
Have you done illegal drugs in your life?
Maybe.
I have. I could have been stopped and frisked, and I could have gone to prison, or I could have been held if I had a little bit less money in Rikers indefinitely until my trial came. Because a cop just decided, hey, I'm going to stop and frisk you, but they wouldn't do that to me because I'm a white woman.
That's nice, but anyway, it's about shootings, and the point of the program, and this is stated quite literally, to deter people from carrying illegal firearms.
Yeah, and it was a fucking, okay, then it was a demonstrable failure. That was part of the reason why they had to stop it. Because they literally never actually got guns off of black people for the most part. They found more guns on white people than black people. What the fuck is he saying? Hasan, you say demonstrable too much? I like that word. Fuck you. Yeah, it was just a sustained harassment campaign in impoverished neighborhoods.
And I'm gonna, it
100%.
Are you in favor of gun control?
This is what I'm
saying.
I'm a New Yorker, so I'm not like a big gun guy, but
let me. This is my point.
Target guns, and that's why.
Yeah, you definitely got to target illegal guns.
I'm going to agree with Emma,
sure.
but Emma's not going to agree with me.
What? Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. He said gun control for black people only by mass harassment campaigns by the police. That's an insane thing. He said, gun control? Nah, I'm just racist. That is, what the fuck? He just got clapped right there, dude. It's like, gun control? Nah, not a big fan. I'm just a fucking racist, actually. No, I don't want black people to be comfortable. It doesn't even have anything to do with drugs or guns. I just want them to fucking just feel uneasy at all times.
The idea that the police can decide to arbitrarily stop people because they might be carrying a firearm violates the Second and Fourth Amendments. Well, again, stop and frisk is completely unconstitutional.
That's why Fourth Amendment was in my mind.
You're supposed to stop, question, and frisk, and usually it's based on reasonable suspicion, and they're supposed to.
I'm bearing arms. They're supposed to.
They're supposed to follow the Terry standard.
This idea that because a particular group of people may be carrying guns, we're going to go start stopping a whole bunch of them. I'm like, the Constitution protects our right to keep and bear arms in the first place. So now you're violating, you're ignoring the Second Amendment and using that and by ignoring it, now you're violating the Fourth Amendment. I mean, it's absolutely nonsense.
This is why I'm actually critical of Bloomberg's expansion of the program, because the way it used to work is that if you had a shooting suspect, you would have a description, you'd send cops to the area, and they would stop people with that description, ask them questions, and if there was reasonable suspicion, they would conduct a search. This is why under Giuliani, the maximum amount of stops in a year, and New York City of 8.5 million people, was 90,000 people. And under Bloomberg, it was something like 700,000, maybe 800,000 people. So he dramatically expanded the program to the point where I do think it was constitutionally violative.
So you are kind of to the right of Donald Trump on this, who has been releasing nonviolent offenders.
Donald Trump's First Step Act is absolutely terrible. It sets up a bunch of incentives.
Well, I mean, you're further right than I'd imagine a ton of this audience is. I mean, that's fine. That's extreme.
Like, I'm not here to win over the audience. Well, I will win over the audience because I'm correct, but
this is mostly moderates.
But Donald Trump's First Step Act had a lot of language about going soft on youthful offenders, and that's one of the reasons why a huge portion of the increase in homicide that we're seeing is among young men, and specifically among young black men in this country.
I want to bring your guys' attention to this chart, because there's a lot that it shows. I know it's just murders,
right?
But we're talking about, you mentioned something about the 60s. For some reason, in 1962 to 64, we start seeing, from 1962 onward.
Yeah, our audience of mostly moderates is such a funny take, dude. Moderates who were, I guess, watching Tim because he kept saying Donald Trump's going to win every state except for California. I don't know. Moderates who liked Tim Pool's argument that like every American citizen under the Second Amendment should have a nuke. They should be allowed to have a nuke. That's the kind of moderate shit that people like. You know what I mean?
A ridiculous spike.
Ludwig can't shoot. I can't believe this man thinks the yard is going to beat us in basketball.
Come on! All right, let's go. That's really annoying. Why does it move?
Jock Andy, by the way. Yeah, Jock. Chad, I have some bad news. I didn't realize that Will woke up and, he went to hang out in Japan. He didn't want to do a stream today, which is perfectly fine. Obviously, it's perfectly reasonable. So I think I'm just going to bail on the IRL portion today. There is a really cool thing that I have lined up for tomorrow. In case you don't get to it, Tim later calls out your Ukraine take. Wait, what? Why would Tim disagree with my Ukraine take? I thought those guys loved, being anti-State Department and all this stuff. Did you guys go to the Muscle Girl Cafe yesterday? No. They just don't like you? Yeah, I mean, that's not... Actually... No, Tim Pool does like me, I think. Low key.